I'm going to put this down here as well.
Do you want me to leave the music playing? What do you think we should do?
No, that's a bit easier, I think.
It's great.
Let's go for it, man.
Let's go.
All right, ready?
Right. So when I spoke to Sai yesterday, he said that you guys were quite insistent on doing this record and wanting to do it. Why were you so eager to work with Exit Calm?
Was it the first time or the second time that we did a recording?
Well, the album was done in 2 sections
Yeah.
over 2 different parts of the year. I think the reason I wanted to work with them is because I thought they had something really good to say, and then and I thought that we could make that happen. Really simple. I could just tell that they were at a point in their career where they just had something they really needed to get out, and I just knew that I could do it. So Christian agreed to do it, and I felt that we could facilitate that. Really simple.
What did you when did you first experience Exit Calm, either live or hearing the music? Or
I've known Exit Calm for a long time. I was in a band called Longview, and they supported us about probably 5 years ago. So that's when I first heard them and loved them. It was really hard playing gigs with them, actually. They sort of blow everyone off stage. They're like the sort of loudest, most fantastical sort of sound. I remember thinking, right, if I can't join the band, I really need to work with them. I just want to be involved in this sort of thing.
what about yourself, Chris?
Yeah, Rob knew the band initially, and then we did a 4-song EP with the guys, and I kind of fell in love with them at that point. And really great guys to work with, and it was a really quick project.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a lot of time in the studio, but everything kind of came together really nicely and naturally. And, so it was a tough project, but it was very rewarding. And then I guess the second time it came around was a year later. And we were just both excited to have another chance to work with them.
I think as producers, what you see is you see a band who's really got something great, and then I in this recording studio, Christian's got a fantastic talent and best engineer I know, and when you sort of see all the things you can put together, that's when you know, right, I can make a record. You know, so that's how it sort of thought, well, right, you guys need to make this album, and it has to be the best thing ever. You know, it has to blow people away, and I think the lyrics are so now, and I can facilitate it and get in there. You know, that's how it felt, and that's quite rare when that happens, because you do get jobs for money sometimes. You're a bit like, well, yeah, I could do that, but you know, I'm not going to do that, even though perhaps it will pay the bills. Exit Calm was definitely like, right, that's right for the picking. They need to make this record. We can make it happen. I know the best engineer producer we can do it together. And when you get the meeting of these sort of 3 things, that's when you get something special happening, I think. And that's what happened with them, and right the way through the whole process, I think.
Excellent. Did they come in with any ideas on what they want to do differently from the first album? Or did you give them ideas? Or did you? Yeah, again.
Style. No, they knew what kind of record they wanted to make.
I think we approached things pretty much the same way both times, and that's why they wanted to come back. Is because they liked.
I think they're talking about the first record as the one.
Oh, the first.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, but I think the record actually recorded over a period of a year, so we did 4 songs. It feels like it was 2 records actually, because the first one was supposed to be an EP. And then people really liked that, and it sort of picked up enough steam for us to finish the record. But in answer to the question, I think they really knew they wanted to do something different. They really wanted to punctuate with really devastating articulation what they knew they are about, and they just knew they could put, a football on a 1-pence piece. I don't know. I know you're a football. My analogies pretty thin there, to be honest, but I just know that they knew they needed to make a record which connected. That's a terrible industry word, connected, but I just know they had clear ideas about what this song means and what their band's about, and I think we facilitated that.
Yeah, they were very focused on being themselves and not reinventing themselves, just getting out what they had, and which is what we want as well. So
I mean, I first got into Exit Calm. Well, I heard the songs first, obviously, but what really struck me was seeing them live. And it's obviously hard, or not hard, but how difficult is it to replicate that energy and emotion in a recording studio, rather than on stage? And did you have to do anything to help facilitate that?
That comes in. That's the art of recording, and that's when you get. That's what Christian. I mean, I met Christian 10 years ago in Seattle, recording. He's brilliant, as well as a producer, an engineer. And once you get an engine, that's one facet of recording, is capturing the energy of a group and the sound of the group. And it was hard, but you need to just.
It was interesting here because we tracked them live, so everyone's obviously playing together and trying to get that energy of a live performance, like you said. But in this studio, for example, no one can see each other, so there is a sense of isolation, but at the same time everyone's playing together, and the band is so connected intrinsically that it worked here totally.
Yeah, sure. It's an interesting question though, isn't it? Because when you record a group, that's like you sort of think about the songs and you think about what they're about, and you sort of overview it. And then when it comes down to the physicality of recording, that's where I would put that, categorise that in. It's like about the feel. So you think, right, what's the best way to capture it? I don't want to sort of fiddle around with them. And then you sort of think, right, need live mics. So it comes under recording, sort of physical. So Christian sort of put lots of mics up. And then, for example, the guitars, I think, were recorded with just more mics than we've ever used on guitar.
We had mics, yeah, we had mics in the hallways and multiple different amps chained together, didn't we? And,
yeah.
A lot of ambient mics and things.
Double miking, just everything you can do physically.
And even like Nicky was originally, he was singing in the same room as the drums, the final take of the drums, you know, he's in there, his scratch track is in there somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's a big part of, that's what I call the sort of, I don't know, the sort of overview the whole project, and you think, well, what's the best way to... For some bands, you'd really try and clean it up and get it on the grid. Next time you don't, you try and get the feel. You think, right, like there's a track called Fiction, which is a really sort of baggy, sort of badass, kind of like nearly like hip hop, sort of wrong, sort of Ian Brownie kind of thing. So you think that needs to have the right tempo, but then to capture the drum sound needs to be really raw. It all comes under the same sort of overview of capturing the group. But I hope that the record sounds more fearsome than even their live sound does. You know, I mean, it might sound ambitious, but that's what I hope.
How long did the process take?
It's well quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said, yeah.
So two different sessions, a year apart, and the first one, which was Fiction, Rapture. What were the other two?
First session we did When They Rise, which
Nuclear.
used to be called Nuclear, which is a really good song. We just
Well, that's another story, but that song almost didn't make it, but we fought for it, and it ended up, because they thought it wasn't ready, but we really loved it and worked on it, and that one really came to fruition in a beautiful way, and everybody loves it in the end, so that's a good story. But that first session was 4 songs, and we had, I think, 5 days.
Yeah. Oh, God knows. It was done quickly, but it was done properly. That's the way, and I think for that band and for us, that was the right way to do it. The whole record was done in about 3.5 weeks, which is about normal, I think. But that you're looking at like 14-hour days, 12-hour days, no break, and they work hard. Exocub really, as we did. But it doesn't need to take 3 weeks, normal really. No corners cut, but everything that needs to be done in the right amount of time. If you spend too long, stuff starts going off, and people get disjointed, and you just have to keep it going and just get it right. It's the right balance, I think.
Definitely.
So
in some ways, sometimes it's good to be limited on time or possibilities. So, yeah.
So you mentioned there was it When They Rise. You had to push